Have you ever rearranged your furniture and discovered the carpet underneath looks brand new while the rest of it looks, well, not so new? It's time for a carpet upgrade. At the Home Depot, we have stylish choices at simple prices from all the top brands. Best of all, we can install it for you, starting at only 49 cents per square foot. So all you have to do is pick your perfect floor. Start your carpet project today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Exclusions apply for licenses. See homedepot.com/license numbers.
You said this place was steps from the water.
We just haven't found the steps yet.
How much did we save?
Enough.
Enough to get lost?
Or you could book a stay with Hilton.
Welcome to your oceanfront room, just steps from the water.
The Hilton sale is on now. Book on Hilton.com or the Hilton app and save up to 20% to get the stay you expected. When you want savings, not surprises, it matters where you stay. Hilton, for the stay.
Some things happen fast, like a vacuum finding your lost earring. A dog reacting to the word walk. And settling up with friends on the PayPal app. Send and receive money in seconds. Access your balance to send, shop, pay bills, and more. Download the PayPal app to get started. An account with PayPal is required to send and receive money. A PayPal balance account is required to hold and use a balance.
Are your ad campaigns lighting up the dashboard, but not the pipeline? That's bull spend, and marketers are calling it out in Dashboard Confessions.
My boss asked for results, so I opened my dashboard for the only positive-sounding metric I had, impressions.
Cut the bull spend. See revenue, not just reach. LinkedIn delivers the highest return on ad spend of major ad networks. Advertise on LinkedIn. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a $250 credit. Go to linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Kayak gets my flight, hotel, and rental car right. So I can tune out travel advice that's just plain wrong.
Bro, Skycoin. Way better than points.
Never fly during a Scorpio full moon.
Just tell the manager you'll sue. Instant room upgrade.
Stop taking bad travel advice. Start comparing hundreds of sites with Kayak and get your trip right.
Bad advice? You talking to me?
Kayak. Got that right.
Who has the most to prove? Most to prove next week at the first set of Eagles OTAs. Welcome to the Eagles Checkdown, fastest under 10-minute Eagles podcast there is. Cover news, notes, and opinions on your favorite football team. The Philadelphia Eagles, jointly produced by the Eagles Pinpool Podcast Network and the STT Sports Network on YouTube. Guys, I'm your man, Phil Stiefel, guiding you through for the next 5-6 minutes as I break down some things floating around in this big brain of mine. And today's episode, I can't take credit for it, right? I'm excited for football. I can't wait. I'm craving more football in my life, right? I miss it. But I was reading an interesting article from my man, Anthony DeBona, who put out a piece about 5 Eagles players that have the most to prove this offseason in OTAs, mini camps, and leading into training camp. And it got me thinking, there's got to be more than just 5 guys that got a lot to prove. And he named 5 guys, but I got to throw more to the mix. So shout out Anthony DeBona for his great work, but also shout out to him because, he inspired this episode. All right, so first name on his list of somebody that has something to prove is Tanner McKee, the Eagles' second-string quarterback. A lot of people thought Tanner McKee would be traded by this point. Maybe his value is not seen around the league as well as we thought. They obviously have Andy Dalton brought in, and they drafted Cole Payton. Tanner McKee, there was a point we thought we'd get a second-round pick for him. He did not play well in Week 18 against Washington. Has his value dropped? Do the Eagles need to figure out what's going to happen? They're not going to keep 4 quarterbacks on the roster. What's going to happen with Tanner McKee? That's a guy with something to prove, and I thought that was an interesting one there. Brings up Will Shipley as a guy that's got something to prove. Obviously, Tank Bigsby is back as the second running back. They did make an addition of Dameon Pierce as well. The Eagles typically keep only 3 running backs on their 53-man roster. Will Shipley was one of the primary kick returners last year for the Philadelphia Eagles and even finished in the top 10 overall, in kick returning last year. But Dameon Pierce has even more significant success as a kick returner. So he's going to have to prove something to hold on because he hasn't been able to really get any snaps as a running back in the NFL. So that's another one there. Keely Ringo, We've talked about Keely Ringo in the past. I'm shocked. Just he's still on this roster basically because of special teams. The Eagles have obviously upgraded the cornerback room a little bit this offseason. Keely Ringo might be on the way out. He might be a guy that you get traded at some point this offseason, even if it's just for a pick swap or something like that. Grant Calcaterra is the first name on his list that really's got a lot to prove. Obviously, Dallas Goedert is still here. Obviously, they drafted Eli Stowers. They got Johnny Munt, a blocking tight end. I don't see a path to Grant Calcaterra making the Eagles roster. So he's going to have to show out in OTAs and in training camp just to get a shot in the NFL at this point. He's got a very cuttable contract with only $700,000 guaranteed in it. This is my first one where I got to add or edit. He put Johnny Wilson on the list of someone to prove. Johnny Wilson obviously got hurt in the offseason last year. The Eagles are revamping their wide receiver room, right? Obviously, Devontae Smith, Dontavian Wicks, drafting Mekhi Lemon, Hollywood Brown, Elijah Moore. Johnny Wilson is one of the names. Quez Watkins, Britton Covey. I'm going to throw Darius Cooper into the conversation with Johnny Wilson for the same thing. Most years, the Eagles only keep 5 wide receivers. Smitty, Wicks, Lemon, and Hollywood Brown. That's 4 of them. That means Elijah Moore, who's been spending a lot of time this offseason working out with Jalen Hurts, Johnny Wilson, Darius Cooper, who everyone loves, the Darius Cooper type, the training camp, the Paul Turner syndrome type player, and then some other guys. I think there's a real possibility that both Darius Cooper and Johnny Wilson do not make the roster unless they have a hell of an offseason, hell of a training camp, hell of a, set of OTAs here. Those 2 guys might be on their way out. And we don't even know what Johnny Wilson is going to look like health-wise after his pretty serious, significant injury he faced last offseason. Next week, I've got 5 rookies from last year that I think have a lot to prove. Obviously, on the offensive line, Holland Pierce and Cam Williams. The Eagles are very, very light on depth on the offensive line. They went out and drafted Mekhi Morris and Markel Bell. They obviously have Cam Williams along with Holland Pierce, some other guys like Drew Kendall and Willie Lampkin. These guys are guys that are going to be fighting for snaps and reps in these practices with guys they just invested. Some of these guys were undrafted free agents or later round draft picks. Morris and Bell were higher end draft picks. They're going to have a problem. There are people that were saying Cam Williams would eventually be Lane Johnson's replacement. Well, that might not be the case anymore. He might at best be a Fred Johnson replacement at this point. Both those rookies are second-year players are going to have a lot to prove. Another one, Ty Robinson. I don't think Ty Robinson gets talked about enough this offseason. How disappointing the Vanilla Gorilla was last year. And he's not, in my mind, at risk of losing a roster spot. But there's a thing I'm foreshadowing after this upcoming season, after the 2026 season. It's the probable eventual loss of Moro Ojomo. And this is about the time where Moro Ojomo last year, like 2 years ago, started to step up for the eventual replacement for Milton Williams. Ty Robinson cannot be that guy that, or he has to be that guy that can take over for Moro Ojomo. You invested a mid-round pick on Ty Robinson. He came in with this personality and this nickname, didn't really prove anything. There's a lot on the line for Ty Robinson, whether he's part of the future of this Eagles roster. Honestly, they would have probably considered trading Moro Ojomo for a pretty decent draft pick this offseason if Ty Robinson had a really good rookie year, which he just did not. I mean, he was a healthy scratch most of the season last year. I think there's some pressure on Jahad Campbell and maybe Drew Makuba, at least on a recovery from an injury standpoint. I don't expect to see Jahad Campbell out there in OTAs. He is still recovering from a shoulder surgery, but in the classroom, in the film work, can Jahad Campbell take that next step forward? Obviously, the loss of Nakobe Dean and the safety room is so weak that Drew Makuba is probably on paper your best safety on this roster right now. And another guy that's got a lot to prove, mentioning a weak safety room, in my opinion, is Michael Carter, the slot cornerback that we brought in from the Jets last season. There's been a lot of work and a lot of talk about converting him to safety. We've seen slot corners in the past convert to safety, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson being one of them. Michael Carter in OTAs can show whether he's learned anything from the time here last year and this offseason. And if he can figure out how to play safety and even at a decent level, he can make Howie Roseman's job on additions in that safety room much easier. So that's what I got. They're the guys that in OTAs over the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, really could set themselves apart from some of the other fringe roster players here, and we could see what we've got. So I'm really excited next week for OTAs. I can't wait to get football, even if it's just practice, even if it's just 7-on-7s. I don't care. I need my football in my life. Guys, this is Phil Stife for the Eagles Checkdown. Have a great day. But for now, go Birds and bubbles up.
This is a Bose moment. You've been there. Small talk's going nowhere, but then the Bose speaker kicks in. Music you can feel fills the room, and no more chat with Danny from accounts. Your life deserves music. Your music deserves Bose. Find your perfect product at Bose.com.
Expedia and Visit Scotland invite you to come experience the beauty that awaits in Scotland. The sweep of wild coastlines, quiet lochs, and untamed landscapes. Fresh cuisine that feels rooted in the land. Come experience the kind of stillness that stays with you long after you leave. Plan your Scottish escape today at expedia.com/Visit Scotland.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You know those friends who support your preference for podcasts over music on road trips? That's the energy State Farm brings to insurance. With over 19,000 local agents, they help you find the coverage that fits your needs, so you can spend less time worrying about insurance and more time enjoying the ride. Download the State Farm app or go online at statefarm.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Introducing the new Best Skin Ever Ultra Slim Precision Concealer from Sephora Collection. It's full coverage with a matte finish and perfect for any look. Whether you're building it up for a full glam moment or targeting correction for a more natural vibe. At only $12, it's great for affordable touch-ups on the go. Get this new must-have concealer at Sephora or at Sephora.com today.
You don't wash your jersey during a win streak. You don't switch seats when your team's up big. And you definitely don't shave during the playoffs. When things are working, you don't change them. That's why when you drink Jägermeister, you drink it ice cold. Anything else? Well, that'd just be bad luck. Drink it cold or don't drink it at all. Jägermeister. Damn, that's cold.
Drink responsibly. Jägermeister liqueur, 35% alcohol by volume. Imported by Mast Jägermeister, U.S. White Plains, New York.